My wife bought a house for her ex and changed our son's name. A DNA test revealed he wasn't mine. I once believed I had it all. A loving wife, a sweet little boy, and a home that felt like happiness lived in every corner. For years, I walked around thinking I'd built the perfect life. But the most painful betrayals don't come with warning signs. They come quietly, when you least expect them. It started as a vague feeling I couldn't shake. Nothing obvious, just subtle changes in Amelia. My wife was suddenly more private, her phone constantly buzzing with late-night messages and whispered phone calls in the other room. She became fixated on our finances but dismissed my questions with a tired smile, telling me it was just work stress. I wanted to trust her. I really did. Then came the bombshell. I found out she had purchased a house, not for us, not as an investment, but for her ex, Lucas. The very same man she had once sworn was out of her life for good. At first, I laughed. I genuinely thought I'd misunderstood. Maybe she was helping an old friend, I reasoned. Maybe there was a logical explanation. There wasn't. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. He was going through a rough time, she said, voice quivering. He needed somewhere to stay. My mind was racing. Why was she still in contact with him? Why did she use our money? But the one question that burned through me like wildfire was, why the hell did she still care? That revelation cracked the foundation of our marriage. But it wasn't the last one. The second blow came like a wrecking ball. I discovered she had legally changed our son's last name, not to mine, but to Lucas's. I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. Why would you do that? I asked her, my voice barely audible. She hesitated, her eyes filling with guilt and pity. Because he's not yours, she whispered. My world stopped. What did you just say? I didn't wait for her to explain. I drove straight to a clinic and ordered a DNA test. The days that followed were a blur of anxiety. Every hour stretched into eternity. When the results arrived, my hands trembled as I opened the email. 99.99% probability of non-paternity. The words carved themselves into my brain. The boy I had raised, loved, and thought of as my own, he wasn't biologically mine. And she had known all along. That was it. I filed for divorce immediately. But I wasn't going to walk away with nothing while she walked off with everything. She bought that house using my money, and the court needed to hear that. The judge agreed. The property was ordered to be sold, and the profits awarded to me. She had changed our son's name without my consent. That opened the door to something she didn't expect, paternity fraud. I fought for full custody, and I won. The court ruled in my favor on every front. By the time the dust settled, Amelia had lost it all. Her home, her savings, and any right to the child she had lied to me about. And Lucas, he vanished. Took what he could, money, a house, a woman foolish enough to destroy her family for him, and disappeared the moment her bank account dried up. She was left with nothing but shattered dreams and regret. As for me, I walked away with my dignity, my freedom, and the satisfaction of knowing that justice had been served. Because betrayal cuts deep, but revenge? Revenge drives the knife in even deeper and walks away. The day the divorce was finalized, I stood outside the courthouse and breathed in the crisp autumn air. The chapter had closed. I was free. But freedom had its price. I'd spent years believing I was someone's father. That bond, that love, it doesn't vanish just because of a lab report. My heart still ached for the little boy I once cradled in my arms. And now, I was faced with a choice. I had been granted sole custody, but I wasn't his biological father. No one would have blamed me if I walked away. It would have been the easiest option. But I couldn't. One sleepless night, I found myself parked outside a diner, gripped by memories of his laughter, his tiny hands reaching for mine. And that's when it hit me. Biology didn't define love. DNA didn't make someone a father. I had been the one to hold him when he cried. I had taught him how to ride a bike, read him bedtime stories until he drifted off against my chest. In his eyes, I was his dad. So, I made my decision. The next morning, I sat down with my lawyer and made it official. I would continue to raise him. I would be his father, because that's what he deserved. Naturally, Amelia fought back. She screamed in court, demanded visitation, accused me of stealing her son. But the judge stood firm. You forfeited your parental rights when you committed paternity fraud, he said coolly. Mr. Carter has every right to raise him as he sees fit. The last time I saw her, she stood outside the courtroom looking hollow. All the fire was gone from her eyes, replaced by something colder. Regret. Do you hate me? She asked quietly. I paused. Did I? Maybe once I did. But not anymore. I don't hate you, I said finally. But I'll never forgive you. She nodded, silently wiping her tears. And just like that, I turned and walked away. Some wounds never heal. Some betrayals run too deep. But the greatest revenge isn't always about destruction. Sometimes it's simply about rebuilding. And that's exactly what I did. Because I still had my son. And that was enough.